It's me from Teen Tech Reviews, back in another video. So today I don't really need a script, I don't even write scripts, to talk about whether you should upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro Max with a new titanium frame and all that other cool stuff that it comes with if you already have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And there's a lot of controversy, obviously, the iPhone 14 Pro Max being that its battery health degraded all the way down to like 80%, 88%, 90%. And I'm also one of those people who suffered from that, and I'm not sure why that I did. It could be because of my charging habits, but right now the battery health right now is about 87% on my iPhone 14 Pro Max, which will be traded in shortly after I create this video. So let's get into the differences between the iPhone 14 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's talk about it. So one of the main differences obviously is when you hold the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it's going to have that new titanium chassis, that new titanium feel to it, and it's really nice in the hand. We say it a lot of tech tubers say it a lot, feels really good in the hand, but it really does, because those nice rounded corners now, which is new, nice rounded corners that sits nice on the pinky. It's a lot lighter, well, 10 grams lighter, 10% lighter than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which has the stainless steel sides. And of course, what you see right there is that mute switch. So I guess it's a good segue. Is another thing about the design is now we have the action button on the side of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So instead of the silent mute switch where you toggle it on and off, you now have this action button where you can toggle it to do a lot of different things, such as turn on the flashlight, the camera settings, or not camera settings, the camera, and you can set it to open the selfie camera, the video camera, portrait mode, a lot of different things, and most of all shortcuts, which means pretty much you can make it do whatever you want. You could make this a Hey Google button. Now, sorry if I turned on your devices. You can even make the action button Google Assistant button if you choose to do that, because you can have it open the Google Assistant. So you can have it do a variety of different things. And the camera modules are the same. They said that this is a new sensor. I don't think it is, because it's the same 48 megapixel sensor. But the thing that is new about it, only on the 15 Pro Max, is the new 5x telephoto camera. So now that I bring that up, let's talk about that 5x camera. The 5x camera is equivalent to 120 millimeters, which is great for portraits, and it gives a really nice compression. I'll give you examples later on in the video of picture and video quality differences between the iPhone 14 and 15 Pro Max. And it might be footages from my day in the life with the 15 Pro Max, where I throw in some differences between the 14 Pro Max and video and picture in that video. And I think I'll have that out first before I put this video out. So the 5x telephoto camera, I do like it a lot. It's really great, especially when you're zooming in on video, especially for me with my dog. When I'm zooming in on videos of him in the dog park, I really do enjoy being able to finally zoom in a little bit. And it really does compete. If you watch other videos with the Samsung, in some conditions, especially in bright daylight, the digital zoom going beyond 5x, about 10x, it competes pretty well with Samsung's optical camera, which has an optical. And that's thanks to this sensor. Even though it's small and 12 megapixels, it's got a f2.6 apertures, which brings in more light, which gives it better advantage with the 10x optical camera Samsung, which I think has like an f-stop of 4 or something like that. So with this bringing in more light with the f2.8, that's a really good move on Apple. And it does have a natural bokeh when you're taking portraits on there. And now that I talk about portraits, it should be a software thing, but I think on the 14 Pro Max, I don't know if I tested it out, but if you are taking a picture of a person, cat, or dog, there should be a little F logo that pops up on the camera that lets you know you're taking a portrait shot, and you can toggle on that F to make it a portrait shot then and now, or you can wait till after the fact and go to the top left where it says live. There'll be a little F logo on there. You can click on that, and then there'll be a portrait mode option where you can turn it on, and then you can go to edit in the settings and change the focal points of where the focus is, and change the aperture on there as well in post processing on your end to make the photo the way you want it to be, which is pretty cool. They call this a next gen portrait mode, but It's a software thing. I think Google's had it for a minute, Samsung's had it for a minute. Apple is always playing catch up, but when they do play catch up, they do play it pretty well. So the cameras on here, I think you're not really going to notice that much difference between the 14 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max. It does default at 24 megapixels now, compared to 12 megapixels. So when it does that pixel bitting, it does on that 48 megapixel sensor. It goes and does some computational magic where it combines 12 megapixels and the 48 megapixels to give you a very detailed 24 megapixel output in order to have really nice detailed photos. And you won't notice this if you compare it to the 14 Pro Max unless you're pixel peeping and you're zooming in, and then you can see the difference in detail between the photos. But if you're just doing it for social media and just sharing pictures in general, and you're not really looking for all that detail, you really won't notice the differences between the photos that much between the two phones to a point where you want to trade it in to spend $800 something. And the video quality is about the same. Yeah, except you can zoom in more on video. So those are the differences you'll see between the 14 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max when you're doing camera stuff. So another obvious difference between these two phones is the connecting port. Instead of Lightning like we had on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, we now have USB-C on the 15 Pro Max. There's a lot of advantages to this. I haven't tested them all out, but one of the things that Apple advertised is the ability to record ProRes 4K 60, but you do need to have it connected to external storage in order to utilize 4K 60. If you try to utilize 4K 60, it will tell you that you cannot do it because it's only supported with, you'll get this message. 4K 60 is not supported unless you have external storage connected to the device. And when you do have external storage connected to the device, you will get a logo that says USB-C at the bottom to let you know that the footage that you're recording is going straight to the external hard drive, and then it'll be there. But in the video I saw from The Verge, which is a really good resource in that video when they talk about the iPhone 15's cameras, she mentioned that if you use a slower cable that doesn't have a high transfer speed, your video will be choppy. And so you might want to avoid that. So make sure that you are using a Thunderbolt 3 or higher cable, or the USB-C cable that comes with the external storage device that you're using. Usually that's going to be a high speed transfer cable because SSDs have very high transfer speeds, usually, most cases. So make sure you're utilizing a Thunderbolt 3 cable or higher, like I said, and then you should have pretty good smooth 4K 60 footage. And one thing also I want to mention, now we're talking about videos again, the iPhone 15 Pro Max does allow you to shoot in log. So what does it mean to shoot in log? For the average consumer, you probably won't be shooting in log, so you don't have to worry about this or consider this if you're trying to figure out if you should upgrade or not. More than likely you shouldn't. But if you're an average consumer and you don't know what log is, log, it pretty much is when you're shooting in a flat color profile. And usually the iPhone, when you're shooting ProRes HDR, it's going to have a lot of detail, a lot of sharpness, maybe too much sharpness than you would like, or the regular video maybe has too much sharpness than you would like. If you shoot in log, it shoots in a flat color profile, the sharpness is trimmed down by a lot, and then you can color grade it to how you want it to be in your own creative way, such as a cinematic type color profile. Maybe you can insert a LUT on there. When you shoot in log, you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's pretty much like shooting a video like you're doing a ProRes raw photo. It's not, or there's more detail in it, and excuse me, also in log you can shoot in a way that where it retains a better high dynamic range. So when you're doing log, you have a better chance at editing your footage to have a cleaner HDR look. And I think I'll have an example in this video. I'm not sure if I'll have it in this video or the last video where it's a day in the life, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But yeah, shooting a log is great. It's awesome. You can shoot at log 4K 60 as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool that you can do all that stuff with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You can pretty much run a YouTube channel at this point with the iPhone 15 Pro Max with me able to shoot in log. You can pretty much color grade it however you want it to be. And you will need to spend money on a $2,400 camera or something like that. But then again, if you are buying like a 1 terabyte version of this phone, you are spending almost enough money to where you could buy a camera with a few extra $100. But yeah. Also, let me talk about the storage options, because that changed a little bit too. So just a quick tidbit on the pricing. The iPhone 15 Pro Max does start at $1,199, I believe. But it's the same price as last year. It's just that they took away the option for 128 gigabytes of storage, and they're pretty much making you have 256 gigabytes. And it makes sense in a sense, because with the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you do have the option to shoot in log 4K 60. But that is going to be to external storage, but you still have the ability to shoot in ProRAW, ProRes, and all these other options that take up a high file size. And especially people who have maybe Tidal or Apple Music and you're downloading high-res lossless, don't know why you would do that, or just download lossless in general, those are also very high file sizes. But you also have the option to go into settings in Apple Music and optimize your storage and set a limit to how many gigabytes of music you do want to store on your phone, which is also pretty nice. You can also do that with Spotify as well, I believe. But you can just monitor how much storage you're using up with music and the quality of music that you're downloading onto your phone to keep track of the storage on that. So yeah, it starts at $256 now, but it's still going to be the same price as a 256 gigabyte model of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And that's the pricing. So battery life on the iPhone 15 Pro Max so far, it's always lasted me a day. I haven't gone a day where I feel like I had to charge it midday to make sure that it lasted throughout the day. Usually I'm off the charger at about 6 a.m. and I end my day at about 10 p.m. I usually have 20%, 15% battery, maybe more depending how much I use it throughout the day. My average screen on time has been 7 hours and 35 minutes. Yeah, so it's been a pretty good battery experience so far. And in my last video, Data Life, I showed you guys the ESR wireless MagSafe case, where when you put the phone on the wireless charger, it has a little fan built in to keep the phone cool while it's charging. And I believe this should help me have a better battery life health compared to my last phone, where I believe the MagSafe chargers would cause the phone to overheat a little bit in the battery, and I think that was degrading the battery life on my phone. It also could have been the blazing hot summer and the phone just getting really hot and the temperature just really degrading my battery. So that could have been a thing too, the really hot summer and the phone overheating from being outside and just the heat really degrading the battery because it's been hot outside a lot this summer. So that was probably another factor to why my battery health was suffering on my iPhone 14 Pro Max. So yeah, like I tell most people, if you can't decide if you want to upgrade or not, if you have the 14 Pro Max, if your battery health is fine, then it's probably not worth the upgrade, because the Pro version is pretty much the same as the 14, the camera module wise. You still have the 3x 77mm equivalent camera on there. The sensors are all the same. So your only difference really, the 15 Pro Max, is that telephoto camera. The USB-C Thunderbolt speeds, Thunderbolt 3 speeds, 10 gigabits. Wish it was more. And the action button and the titanium frame, making it a little lighter and still feel really nice in the hands. Also, forgot to mention the dimensions of the 15 Pro Max are slightly smaller, and the phone is a bit more narrow than the 14 model, and you still have a 6.7-inch screen despite that, and you do have thinner bezels, which is really nice. But if you're coming from the 14 Pro Max, you won't notice that big of a difference if you're coming from there. So those are some things you really need to consider. Is it worth trading your phone for $650 to upgrade to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, if that's what you're thinking about, when the differences are USB-C, action button, and 5x camera and titanium body? Is that enough to make you want to upgrade? And with that being the outside differences, and there's also the ProRes log, if that's important to you as well. There is the ProRes 4K 60 to external drive, if that's important to you as well. And honestly, if USB-C is important to you as well, because there's a lot of actually capabilities you can do with this. You can connect it to microphones, headphones, obviously the Beats Studio Pro lossless. You can take advantage of that now. You can listen to Apple Music lossless audio with the Beats Studio Pro. You can connect it to a display port. You can connect it to a monitor. You can do a lot with this USB-C port right here on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. You can't really do much at all with the Lightning. You have to buy constant Lightning accessories, which thank God for that. But yeah, I'll have a video with my 1 week review of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is just me comparing it to the 14 Pro Max to give you guys an idea if it's worth the upgrade from that. And my conclusion, if your battery health is fine and you don't care much for the cameras and don't care much for USB-C, then this phone is probably going to last you another year. And honestly, if I wasn't always wanting the new latest and greatest, I got the 512 GB version because I feel like I'm going to skip next year's iPhone. And the only way I would probably upgrade again to the 16 Pro Max or Ultra, whatever they want to call it, is if they have like 4 camera array and they have like a 10x optical zoom. If they do something else with USB-C with higher speeds. No, not even that's enough. Honestly, I don't know what would be enough. At this point, the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone in general, I feel like is really peaking. And the only way they could really convince me to upgrade again from these really minute changes is to get maybe a 4 camera array, more optical lenses on there, maybe a variable zoom lens, variable aperture, something more innovative and new maybe would get me to upgrade again. But for now, I think with what we got here, this titanium finish, this frosted glass back or matte glass back, I'm pretty satisfied with this. And the software on here is great. iOS 17 has been great. And really, iOS 17 has brought a lot of features that are exclusive to iPhone users, iPhone to iPhone experience, with the whole, tap together to get airdrops and contact sharing. I think I can do an example of it on here with these 2 iPhones. Yeah, so that's what it looks like basically when you're putting 2 iPhones of iOS 17 together. You can airdrop that way, exchange contact information that way. It's a pretty cool feature, but again, it's iPhone to iPhone. And a lot of the iOS 17 upgrades are in the native apps. You can now download Apple Maps offline. They have this check-in feature where you can check in with a friend or a family member to let them know they're going to go to this location. You should be there by this time, and if you're not there by that time, then they'll get an alert or notification that you have not arrived safely at your location, or notified them that you're safe at their location with the check-in probably glitching or something like that. There's new Apple Music features, a cleaner interface on Apple Music. I don't really use Apple Mail, so I'm not going to really talk about that. There's a new photo library for identifying your pets, cats and dogs, and photos. Really the big thing for me for iOS 17 is offline Apple Maps, because Google Maps has had that for a while now, and it's about time that Apple Maps is able to download offline, which is pretty cool. Other than that, really the iOS 17 features, the widgets and all that stuff, really don't stand out to me that much, honestly. I mean, the contact posters is cool. Oh, and the stickers. I do love making the stickers. I do enjoy making pet stickers or stickers with my pets with the live photos. That's really fun. Other than that, iOS 17, the thing that stands out to me is the new airdrop, tapping the phones together, the stickers you can make in messages, the new interfaces on Apple Music and the other native Apple apps, and the offline Apple Maps. So yeah, again, it's very small stuff, but for me it's the little things that matter, and the stickers surprisingly mean a lot to me when it comes to making memorable things and having fun texting, basically. So yeah, that's my comparison of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Probably going to say a lot of similar things with my review of the 15 Pro Max, my 1 week review of it. Day in the life videos should be up as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Are you upgrading to the iPhone 15 Pro Max? Why or not? Why not? Are you switching over? Google Pixel 8 was just announced. Are you going to get a Pixel 8? Pixel 8 Pro? They have some pretty cool features out there, and they're even competing and saying that their video quality might be better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I'll talk about that in another video. So, if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon, stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching. Peace.